There is technologies and quality. It is this unit is very important because in a way, technologies are closely related to quality. Once in your roadmap have achieved what you wanted in terms of quantity of delivery services, accessible services, then you have to perhaps pay attention to the quality if you didn't do it before. And then also, when you had to deliver all the quantity of accessibility services that you had in your roadmap, perhaps you had to resort to new technologies to help you deliver all this amount that you said that you would. So technologies and quality, it is an important issue. And I've created a short movie with audio description, with text-to-speech, rather than a human voice. It is a synthesized voice. And again, many people balk at it, say, oh, it's a terrible voice, very metallic. These days, synthetic voices are fantastic. And have a look at this one.
The boy sits down in the cockpit, closes the door and starts to push some buttons. The propellers start to move. The mechanic turns around surprised and walks toward the aircraft. The boy starts the engine, looking down at the mechanic, smiling at him and giving him the thumbs up. The plane starts to move. The mechanic runs along next to it, waving his hands. The aircraft accelerates, takes off over the fence, makes a right turn and slowly disappears. Soon, all that remains is a little white cloud in the blue sky.
The different technologies that we can apply, there are many, but I mean the most important technologies that we can apply to audio description are speech to text or text to speech. Speech to text in the sense that we can, existing audio descriptions can be then written down and then translated, for example. Or text to speech, as we have seen in the video before. We create an audio description and then it can be read aloud by a synthetic voice. You have audio description editors, like you do have subtitle editors. I have not got any here because I don't want to advertise any. But you can create, you can buy, there are free, you can use an audio description editor to create your audio descriptions and even to record your own audio descriptions. And then there is the machine or automatic translation. Once you have issue number one, is speech to text. Once you have a text, you can then translate automatically and then post-edit the audio description. And then is the issue, or this is hardware, and it is the issue of secondary screens. You can deliver audio description over the mobile phone or over the tablet. And again, this is a technology that it is very important and very useful for the delivery of audio description, not only in cinema or not only in a theatre, but also at home. One person can receive the audio description through a mobile phone, while the rest of the family can watch the movie without an audio description. So all these technologies should be taken into consideration. But of course, then you should consider where is quality. And that is a very important issue. Is quality the service? You have a good service and a good synchronized service. Is quality the quality of the script of the audio description that you've created? Is quality the sound mix so important? And who decides where is quality? It's not the same the quality for the end user as for the broadcaster, as for the user association or for the service provider. So again, quality is not a fixed number. It's not a fixed, unique figure that you can apply. Quality should be a dynamic figure or a dynamic service that should be agreed with all the different stakeholders in the value chain. So the question is, quality is a fixed value, is a unique value, or is a set of values agreed by different stakeholders? And the right answer is a set of values agreed by different stakeholders. And this is the end of the unit. It is the conclusion. It's where we see everything that we've looked at, and also we sort of wrap up the unit. Audio description should be done in the official language or languages of the country. There are many countries in Europe that they are bilingual or trilingual. Switzerland has got 3 languages, 4 languages. So it should be done in all the languages of the country. The language of the audio description should be the same of the program of the audio. You cannot have an audio description in German when the movie is in French, for example. It should be both in the same language. The foreign language, when you're doing an audio description of a foreign language, you should have audio subtitling plus an audio description. And a very, very important issue is to take care of the sound mix. You should respect the silence. You should take care that the sound mix with silence is leveled so it doesn't sound too loud. You should take care when there is a car chase, for example, and the sound of the movie is very, very loud. Then again, the sound mix of the description should also take into consideration that level of sound. And also you should respect the silence. How to create an audio description, the script for another description, for then to be read aloud by a human, by a voice artist, or by a machine. It is an important issue. There are some movies that they've been made in the US that help you to draft an audio description in a very fast and in a very interesting way. They are downloaded from YouTube, and here it is. You describe what you see. Have a look.
Describe what you see. Night, outdoors. A man wearing a black leather jacket walks to a tent in front of a campfire. He goes into the tent and briefly looks inside. Then, he stands and looks around.
Lasse! Lasse!
He looks around again. He looks at the campfire embers. The campfire dies out. A phone rings.
We know. We heard that.
Oops, I'll try that again.
In a room, a woman on a bed. She grabs a remote control and the lights turn on. Describe what you see.
Also, it is important when you draft a script is to find a balance of the quantity of the information that you give. If you overload the information, you're going to tire the end user. Also, you have to take into consideration that the end user has a memory and you can't give them a lot of information because there is a moment when the person stops remembering. So again, have a look at this short movie that we've downloaded from YouTube for you.
Find a balance. A woman with black hair and big eyes wearing a low-cut top looks outside through a thatch hut window. The hut is next to the water. A purple and golden butterfly flies by bluish-purple flowers and lands on her right hand.
Mr. D, let us hear the song.
Oops.
With the sweetest surprise, I never knew how good it was to be a slave to one who means the world to me.
First too much and then nothing? Can you find a happy medium?
I can do it better. Listen to this. A 9-headed character with golden crowns carries her to a chariot, and they fly away on the chariot. A muscular archer.
I'll never leave him alone.
He sits on her back.
My own. I love that man as nobody can.
He hugs her.
I'm just no good when his arms are above me.
She looks at his picture.
What wouldn't I do for that
Much
man?
better, Mr. D.
Oh, what wouldn't I do for that man?
Find a balance.
When drafting an audio description script, it's also important to just stick to the facts. So what you know, what you see, not what you think it might happen or was happening or it might have happened. Again, we've downloaded this YouTube, and I think it is quite interesting because it really helps to understand how you should just say what it really is happening.
Just the facts. Animation, wavy blue sea. From the ocean emerges a voluptuous and beautiful woman.
Mr. D, you think she is beautiful. It doesn't mean I agree.
She has big eyes, long black hair, and a sinuous silhouette. This strange woman has 4 arms.
Why do you say she is strange?
Her arms are open and bent up. She has sparkling jewelry around her body. She wears a sensual 2-piece dress.
Again, Mr. D, don't give us your opinion.
Okay, let's try that again. Animation, wavy blue sea. From the ocean emerges a woman with big eyes, long black hair, sinuous silhouette, and 4 arms. Her arms are open and bent up. She has sparkling jewelry around her body. She wears a tiara, a short top, and a tight skirt. She has a pink lotus flower in her right hand, a seashell in the other, and a golden ring in one of her left hands. She stands in a lotus. Be objective. Describe just the facts.
The issue of when you should auto-describe, you should auto-describe before, after the action is taking place. Sometimes it's impossible to do it before because you didn't have time to do it, so you have to do it after. Sometimes you do it over music. Sometimes you introduce a character when it happens first. Sometimes you have to introduce a character later on. Clearly, all this is dependent on the content that you are already describing. But again, this short movie gives you a good idea of how to do it.
Just in time. Black and white. A hangar with small planes. A man fixing a plane. 2 men arrive.
Hiya, gents. Hey, I got that supercharger installed. Supercharger? Yes, I've got the usual double supercharger, but I've added an exhaust-driven turbo supercharger.
After the injury, he pulls his arm out.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Remember?
But that happened a long time ago.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Be careful choosing when to describe. Describe just in time.
And of course, you have a spoiler alert. Sometimes something is about to happen and you have to tell also what is going on, what is going to happen. And again, this short movie will show you how to do it for audio description.
Spoiler alert. Animation, wavy blue sea. From the ocean emerges a woman with big eyes, long black hair, sinuous silhouette, and 4 arms. Her arms are open and bent up. She has sparkling jewelry around her body. She wears a tiara, a short top, and a tight skirt. She has a pink lotus flower in her right hand and a golden ring in one of her left hands. She briefly raises her left arms, and a gramophone emerges from the ocean. The tail and the beak of a peacock are the gramophone's horn and needle, respectively. She points her lower left index down and the peacock's beak touches a record. She dances to the rhythm of the music, swaying her upper and lower body side to side in opposite directions. She turns to the gramophone, touches the record, and a big yellow explosion happens.
What? You talked about that way too early.
I can do it better. Listen to this.
She turns and points to the gramophone.
Do not anticipate key information.
Audio describing, the language of audio description is very important. You should find the right register, you should find the right tone, you should find the right vocabulary that goes well, that is coherent with the material that you are creating. But also it is important to be concise, to be very, to describe exactly what is happening in a very short way. Again, we've talked about the issue about memory. We talked about the issue about not rambling for hours because you're going to tire the end user. So again, in this short movie, it tells you how to be concise.
Be concise. Large wave underwater.
The whale shark is the largest fish in the sea and the largest shark. Its great size justifies its name, and so does its method of feeding. Like most of the great whales, the whale shark feeds on some of the ocean's smallest creatures.
The whale shark is brown with white polka dots on its back. Its belly is white and its head is flat and wide.
The shark swims beneath the surface, engulfing enormous volumes of water. The water is filtered as it passes through the animal's gills, trapping the shark's tiny prey inside its mouth.
The large behemoth glides slowly through the blue salt water and stretches its mouth wide, while pelagic yellow fish swim by its white underside. The whale shark approaches the ocean surface, and its colossal gaping mouth breaches the surface.
I like the details, but don't try to impress me with your vocabulary.
Oops, I'm sorry. I'll get it right this time. The whale shark moves slowly through the blue water. It opens and closes its mouth while yellow fish swim under its belly. The whale shark approaches the surface, and the top of its open mouth sticks out of the water, creating a gentle wave.
Much better, Mr. D.
Be clear and concise.
Text on a screen is very important. You should read aloud whatever text is on the screen. We saw in Unit 1, the Paramount, that they were reading the credits because it is important that we know who are the characters in the movie and who are the people playing these characters in the movie, the actors. Brad Pitt is Brad Pitt and George Clooney is George Clooney, is nobody else. So the end users should also be able to know the credits, who is the director of the movie, all these credits that they are written should be read aloud. And also all the other information that happens on the screens like times or like exit, or all these should be read aloud. Have a look at this movie that also explains how to do this.
Read text on screen.
In a church, a man's corpse in a coffin. Two women in black sit next to the coffin. A man leaves.
What next?
A man touches her shoulder.
Mille pardons, madame.
Merci.
Pardon.
He gives her an envelope and slowly steps backward. She opens the letter.
Who's it from? The American Embassy.
What does the letter say?
Oh, my bad.
Dear Mrs. Lampert, please drop by my office tomorrow at 12:30. I'm anxious to discuss the matter of your late husband's death. Sincerely, H. Bartholomew. Always read the text on screen.
And finally, you could try and audio describe yourself. You can start practicing everything that we saw in this short unit. You can do that by adding audio description in YouTube. Have a look at this movie and then you will learn how you can add audio description in YouTube. And in that way, we do crowdsourcing. We are creating more and more material with audio description. And that is a way of growing the number of hours and number of material, the amount of material with audio description.
Recording descriptions with UDescribe, Ting Su, TVI, doctoral student at University of California, Berkeley, and San Francisco State University. This video segment was originally broadcast as part of an interactive webinar titled, UDescribe, you have a microphone, you have YouTube, you can do it. How you can add audio description to any YouTube video. This webinar series is a project of the Smith-Kettlewell Video Description Research and Development Center and was produced by the Described and Captioned Media Program. You can find more information about this project at vdrdc.org and webinar.dcmp.org.
I love the Marcel the Shell YouTube videos, so I decided to describe the second installment of Marcel today. First, I need to go to the UDescribe site at udescribe.ski.org. I see that if I click the first link that says Play Described YouTube Videos, I can view videos that have already been described. I can do this without logging in. However, I'll need to log in to actually create a new description for a video. I'm going to click on the second link called Log In to Create and Edit Descriptions. Conveniently, my name and password are saved in the field boxes from the last time I logged in, so I'll just click Log In. Okay, so immediately there is a list of the most recently described videos. It's organized in several columns, so I can see that there's a column of the video, and then the next column over allows me to create or edit this descriptions for that video, and in the next column it lists the author of that video. Since I want to describe a new video, I will go to the search field and type in as much of the title of the video as I can remember. Marcel the Shell. I'm going to click search. And I can see that in the search results, videos with pre-existing descriptions are going to show up first. However, I don't want the video that's already been described. I want to describe a new video. Here it is, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On 2. In order to create or edit the description, I will click on this link that says Create and Edit Descriptions. So prior to logging into UDescribe and in preparation to describe this video, I prepared a script already. So I already previewed the video, and as I was watching the video, I opened up a Word document and just typed out the script for what I think I'll say in my descriptions. So now you can see I have two windows open on my computer. I have the UDescribe open in my internet window, and then I have a second window open that has my Word document in it, which is the script that I will use for my description. So in order to start describing, we are going to press play, and when we get to a point in the video that I would like to describe, I'm just going to click pause, and then I can hit the record button to insert my description. Ready? Here we go. Marcel stands on an open book. Oh, so sometimes the first time you describe, you might get a pop-up window from Adobe Flash asking, allow udescribe.ski.org to access your camera and microphone, and you should always click allow, and then you can close the window. We'll have to check back later to see if that description got inserted properly. Okay, let's continue.
Sorry, I'm actually really out of breath right now.
Why are you so tired?
Well, in all honesty, I had to walk all the way here from the water bottle.
I thought you said you had a car.
I do, but it wasn't available to me.
I'm getting ready to hit the pause button so I can pause when I want to insert my description. Okay, I just clicked play pause because I want to insert my next description. I'm going to click record and then start speaking my description. Marcel the shell with shoes on. Marcel is a hermit crab shell with one eye in the opening of the shell and pink sneakers. Marcel is on the corner of a table next to a window. On the table is an open notebook and 2 plants. Okay, I've clicked stopped because I'm finished with that description, and now I'll click upload to upload the clip. Great! I can see it appear over here in this window. Okay, let's continue the video. Click play.
If you do drive a bug, you have to be pretty easy going because you're only going to get to go where the bug wants to go. One week there was a maple sugar syrup spill in the kitchen, and every time I would ride the bug out, no matter where I wanted to go, I would just end up back at the kitchen. Really, what you just have to want to do is take a ride.
Do you ever read the newspaper?
We don't have a newspaper, but sometimes I'll just read a receipt. I like that because I like to get a feel for daily life. Guess what?
So originally I had written a description for that scene that said, moving among a stack of old newspapers. But I realized that description actually doesn't add anything to understanding what's happening in the video, or it doesn't make his jokes any funnier. So I think I'm gonna just skip that description and move ahead to the next one. Okay, I'm gonna click to continue the video.
What my bed is? A piece of bread. Guess one time I went to a hotel.
Okay, now this scene I definitely do want to describe, so I'm gonna just back up the video a little bit until it reaches the point where I want to insert my description.
I like to get a feel for daily life. Guess what my bed is? A piece of bread.
Okay, here's where I want to insert it. I'll click record. A bedroom is set up on the soil of a large potted plant. The bed is made of 2 slices of bread, the nightstand, a small jar, and there is a baseball card on the stem of the plant, like a poster on the wall. Okay, I clicked stop, and I'll click upload to upload that. Great. Let's play to continue.
Guess what I want, but I'm not gonna beg for it.
What?
A nickname. Because you can't make it for yourself. Like, you can make yourself a new hairstyle, but you can't say, well, now, I go by the name of the General or whatever.
If you could have a nickname,
Ace.
what if you had a pen name?
I would call myself Sheldon Conk.
So again, I don't think we need this description that says, standing on an orange in a fruit bowl, because it doesn't really add anything to his joke. However, I do want to describe the next scene. I'll click record. On the page of an open book, facing away from the spine and mimicking a run. Okay, we'll stop and then upload again. Okay, let's continue playing the video.
Do you want to see me try to turn the page?
Yeah, sure.
Read on. I used to have...
Oh, so I do want to describe this scene because I know that later in the video we will return to this scene and it will be a crucial element to one of his lines. So I'm just going to back the video up again a little bit.
In the page?
Yeah, sure.
Read on.
Okay, great. This is where I want the description. I'll click record. On the keyboard of a MacBook, a blank document is visible on the screen. Stop, and now I'll upload that. Okay, and let's do one more description.
I used to have a sister. Yeah.
What happened there?
Someone asked her to hold a balloon.
Okay, I realize where I paused, it cut off just the beginning of his words, so I'm going to nudge it back just a little bit so we can pause it right before he starts speaking.
To hold a balloon.
Okay, well, I want to make sure that's the right place. Okay, there we go. Record. On the couch next to a sleeping poodle. Uploading. So at this point, I think I want to go back and check the video and make sure my descriptions are in there as I want, and just to make sure everything is going all right so far. Okay, so here we go. This is back to the list of the search results when I typed in Marcel the Shell. I see that Marcel the Shell with shoes on is number 2 in my search result. So before, when we wanted to create the description, I clicked on the link that said Create Edit Descriptions. Now that I just want to view the described video, I'm going to click on the actual link to the video. Here we go.
I'm sorry. I'm actually really out of breath right now.
Why are you so tired?
Well, in all honesty, I had to walk all the way here from the water
I
bottle.
remember the first description was around 30 seconds, so I'm just going to fast forward a little.
It wasn't. What? I'm sorry. Could I have a drip of water?
Marcel the Shell with shoes on. Marcel is a hermit crab shell with one eye in the opening of the shell and pink skin. Great. I'm just pausing the video there because I can hear my description. It definitely came in where I recorded it, but I realized that my first description that I made did not get recorded. So I'm going to go back to the edit descriptions and just add that description in. So to do that, I'm going to click close. I'm back to the search results screen and I'm going to click Create Edit Descriptions. And I'm just going to bring up my script from my Word document again, which I've got in the window over here. So now I have my two windows side by side again. I have You Describe on the left and my Word document on my right. Yes, so my first description, I wanted to let the viewer know that Marcel is standing on an open book in the first scene. So I'm just going to go back to this video and add that description in. I see that when I click to create and edit a description, it automatically starts the video from the very beginning. So I'm just going to click play. Okay, and I think I actually want to add my description before Marcel even starts talking so that the scene is set up. So I'm going to put this back at the beginning and click pause immediately. Okay, now that it's paused, I can record my first description. Here we go. Marcel stands on an open book. Okay, I click stop because that's it, and I'm going to upload that. Great. I see that since I started my description at 0 seconds in the video, it automatically puts my description at the beginning before all my other descriptions. Great, so now let's go back and check it and see if it's the way I want. I'm just hitting my back button again. And here's the link, Marcel the Shell with Shoes on 2. Okay, the video is loading. Marcel stands on an open book. Okay, excellent. It looks like that went in. Great, and I'll upload that. And that's it. We just described a 4-minute video. If I want to check, remember I can go back to the main page, the youdescribe.ski.org page. And there it is. That's it.